For most visitors, New York City is synonymous with the island of Manhattan. Yet Manhattan is only one of 5 New York boroughs. The others are Brooklyn, Staten Island, the Bronx, and Queens. Brooklyn in particular has become more fashionable in recent years, but it has always been popular with writers and artists. The great poet Walt Whitman lived there in the 19th century, when it was still an independent city, while in the 20th it was the home of Norman Mailer. Current residents include Paul Auster and the film director Spike Lee. Brooklyn is also the home of Jonathan Howell, who commutes to Manhattan every day, where he works for a company called New Yorker Films. We asked him about the attraction of Brooklyn for writers. I think the quality of life is probably a big draw for writers, as much quieter here they have more space. Traditionally, Brooklyn houses and apartments are bigger than Manhattan houses and apartments. They are more likely to have yards, and they probably cost less than Manhattan house or apartment because they are not at the center of everything. But that's what I prefer, being able to leave Manhattan at night after work, and it's almost like going to the country when I get out of the train near home. And he quoted a famous comment about New York by the late British novelist Evelyn Waugh. Well, as a writer, I enjoy sayings about Manhattan. In that city there is a neurosis in the air that locals mistake for energy. I find that to be very true. There is I would say, a nervous energy in Manhattan that I don't feel in Brooklyn. I don't want to feel it. So it's very nice to come to Brooklyn and escape that feeling of some kind of extra stress. Brooklyn is much more relaxed in that sense. It's physically filled with wide open spaces as opposed to the building canyons of Manhattan that wherever I like the lower buildings and be able to see much more sky and just feeling that expansive feeling that Brooklyn gives. Jonathan Howell himself moved to New York from Missouri in the Midwest. We asked him what had been his most positive experience in Brooklyn so far. I would say the best experience is not a single experience, but it's the first 10 years I spent, or actually 11 years that I spent in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg, watching the community develop. It actually moved from here to a place that was a bit scary and not so welcoming to becoming one of the most popular neighborhoods, probably the most popular neighborhood for young people in New York, and possibly the most popular neighborhood for young people in the whole country. In the late 90s and early part of the decade here, at this point I feel like it's probably gone a bit too far with real estate development, and there are luxury condos going up everywhere. But up to that certain point, I think that was really wonderful experience of being in that community and feeling such sense of community.